Good morning, plus 2 commerce. So today we will be starting chapter number 5, that is organizing. And before vacation we have done chapter number 4, that is planning, right? So I just hope that you people have understood chapter 4, because if you haven't understood that, then this chapter will not be easy for you to understand. I have told you that these are the functions: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. And these are in chronological order. You have to follow as these. So this is the second function of management, right? And so in chapter number 4, you have understood that whatever objective is there of the company, you have to make some plans, right? But this chapter focuses that how we can translate those plans into action. That is organizing. In simple words, you can say that you have to divide the work into sections and departments. Clear? Now, the specific definition or the meaning of organizing is that, first of all, you have to identify all the activities, right? When all the activities are identified, then you have to group them under different departments. And at the same time, you have to bring together all the physical, financial, and human resources. And I just hope that you people know the meaning of physical resources, financial resources, and human resources. Right? After that, in this chapter, what you have to do, that you have to establish working relationship. Right? And what is that? Establishing reporting relationship means that you should be aware, you should be knowing that to which person you have to deposit your work and from which person you have to take orders. Means you have to report to whom and from which person you have to take the orders. When you are clear with all these things, then that means you have understood the meaning of organizing, right? So basically, what is that? Organizing, it is a kind of process which implements plan by clarifying jobs and working relationships. Okay, so that means this is related with chapter 4. You have made some plans to achieve the objective. Now you have to implement those plans, right? How can you implement those plans? You have to clarify the jobs and working relationships. It means that every person who is working in the organization, they should be knowing that they have to do which work, and their working relationship means from which person they have to take the order and they have to report to whom. And at the same time, you have to allocate all the resources which are required so that you can achieve the goal. Clear? I'm repeating it again. Listen to the meaning carefully. That it focuses on how we can implement the plans, right? Implementation of plans means that you have to put the plan into action, and you have already made the plan in chapter 4, right? When we are implementing the plan into action, that is possible only by clarifying the jobs. Jobs here means work, that you have to tell each and every person that what is your particular work that you have to do, from which person you have to take the order, and you have to report to which person, right? So that is working relationship. And obviously, whenever we want to achieve something, whenever we want to work for the organization, we need some resources, right? We know that without the resources we cannot achieve anything, right? So when all these three things are done, then we can say that we can reach to our goal, right? We can achieve our objective. This is the meaning of organizing. We are organizing the things. It means we have to divide the work into sections and departments. Clear? Right or not? So I can mark here if you want, right? So after this, the next step is the organizing process, right? So in this chapter, this process has 4 steps. Okay, so what are these 4 steps? First is identification and division of work. I have already told you, whenever you will start organizing the things, right? Whenever your planning function is done and now you're ready for organizing, the very first step that you will do is identify the work, identify all the activities, and then you have to divide it, right? And this thing should be done according to the plan. But you have to make sure there should be no, just wait, there should be no duplication of the work. What is duplication of work? Duplication of work means, I can show you. Okay, so here duplication of work means that the work should be given to each and every person, but the work should not be repeated. Means the same work should not be done by the employee, otherwise it will be wastage of time and energy. Clear? Duplication of work means that the same work should not be done by the employees. Then the second thing is that there should be no burden of work on one person, right? It means that whenever we are dividing the work, we have to make sure that the work should be shared, the work should be divided among the employees so that there should be no burden on anyone. The manager, he divides the job into smaller units, and these units are called job. What it is called? Job, right? Okay, so one example is given here, that is you all must gone to the have gone to the banks, right? So you know how the bank works. So in a bank, every individual is assigned different jobs. So there is one cashier, he accepts cash, then there is another person who makes payment, then there is one person sitting on the other side of the counter and his work is to issue the checkbooks. One person is there who just receives the checks. So it means that all the work is divided into smaller units. Why it is done? So that the work should go very smoothly and systematically. Clear? So it means the first step is that we have to identify and divide the work. Clear? Okay. Next step is departmentalization. So now after dividing the work into smaller jobs, so the next step is that we have to put the similar jobs under one department. Okay, and how this departmentation can be done, or how the grouping of jobs can be done? There are 2 ways. First is functional departmentation and second is divisional departmentation. So under functional departmentation, what they do is they have to like suppose there is one department, finance department. It means all the employees who are doing work related to finance, they should be put under the finance department, right? All the employees who are related with the marketing work, they should be put under the marketing department. And you know that in an organization there are number of departments in the middle level: marketing department, finance department, sales department, HR department, production, there are so many departments, right? So it means all the job which are related to one specific kind of work, they should be put under that specific department. Clear? Next is divisional departmentation. Okay, now there are some organizations, those who are producing more than one kind of product, right? For example, there is one industry, one organization, and they are producing 2 different kind of products. One can be shampoos and the other can be soaps, right? So now what they will do is they have to put they have to make the department according to their product. How? Like for example, whenever an organization is producing more than one kind of product, we call them divisional structure. Okay, here we are talking about departmentalization, so here we are calling it divisional departmentation. So for example, if an organization is producing cosmetics, textiles, medicines, right, so all the activities which are related to production, sales and marketing of cosmetics, they will be put under one department, and so on, right? So earlier I was telling you that there are two departments, one is of shampoos and other is of soaps. So all the people, all the employees who are related, who are engaged with the activities related to marketing of shampoos, they will be put under the marketing department of the unit shampoos. And all the employees which are related with the marketing activities of the soap, they will be put under the marketing department only, but under the soap unit. It means units are different. Likewise, as it is given in your book, there are three different kind of divisions: cosmetic, textiles and medicines. Then all the jobs related to production, sales and marketing of cosmetics are put under one department, and so on. You cannot say that there will be only one marketing department for like for example, like you cannot say that the marketing department will be same for cosmetics, it will be same for textiles and medicines. No, this is not going to happen. If this happens, then there will be so much overlapping of activities, and at the end there will be a mess, chaos in the organization. The work will not be smooth, no efficiency, and your goal will not be achieved. So if you are producing 5 different kind of products, then the marketing department of all the 5 different kind of products will be different, under divisional heads, under different heads. Clear? Okay. So now the next is assignment of duties, right? So now what is the next? So first we have divided the work. First we have identified the work and divided it. Then we have made the departments, and after that we will be assigning the duties, right? So okay. So now after dividing the organization into specified departments, right, we have divided the department in step 2. So now every individual which is working in the different departments, they are assigned a duty, means they are assigned a work, and the work should be matched to the skill and qualifications. Okay, so suppose there is one person who's expert in marketing, he has qualification related to marketing, so obviously this person should be placed under the marketing department. Means whatever work you're giving to an employee, it should be matching to its skill and qualification. It should be related, it should be assigned according to the ability of the individual. If I'm giving some work, for example, if I'm giving the work related to finance to a person who is expert in marketing, then the work is not going to happen, right? So it means the work which is, for example, if I talk about your school, okay, so I'm giving the chemistry work, I'm telling the physics teacher to teach chemistry, and I'm telling the history teacher to teach economics, then that is not going to happen, because their qualification is different, right? And at the same time they are not expert, right? And it is not according to their skills, so obviously your objective will not be achieved. So it is very important that whatever work you have assigned, even a smaller task, it should be assigned according to the ability of the individuals. Okay, so employees are assigned duties by giving them a document. How they are assigned? By giving a document, and the name is job description. Clear? And this can come in 1 mark also, so you have to remember it. And this is a document which contains all the contents and responsibilities. Responsibilities means that all the work is mentioned there, and it is your duty that whatever work is mentioned, you have to complete that. Fine? And the last step in organizing process is that you have to establish reporting relationships. I have told you this so many times, that it means that you should be sure, you should be knowing that from which person you have to take the order, and you have to report to whom. So after grouping the activities in different departments, so they have to, the employees now, they have to perform the job, right? So can you think that every person who is doing the job, they can do the work without any authority? No, this is not going to happen, because in an organization, whenever you're working, you need some authority, otherwise you cannot take decisions. And there are a number of times that you have to take decisions on your own, so at least some authority should be given, right? Clear? So in this fourth step, all the individuals who are working in an organization, they have to be given some authority matching to the job that they are performing. Okay, this is very important. Done? Okay. So whenever we are assigning the authority, okay, to all the employees, now what we have to do is, it automatically creates superior subordinate relationship. And being in plus 2 class, I expect that you people must be knowing who is a superior and who is a subordinate, right? So the person who is having higher authority, he becomes a superior, and the person who is having less authority, he becomes subordinate. Subordinate works under superior. Clear? So when this authority is established, when this authority is assigned to all the employees, then automatically one hierarchy gets created. Which hierarchy? Managerial, which is also known as change of command. Now I would like to ask you that, do you people remember chapter number 2? Your, just a second. Okay, so sorry for the gap. Okay, so whenever in chapter 2 we have done that scalar chain, right? So you know that if the person who is working at level A, if he wants to connect to the person who is working at level D, he has to go through B and C, and then he can go to the D. Okay, so it means that one level is being followed. Okay, this is known as principle of scalar chain, right? So when this authority is established, then automatically one managerial level is created. Now in the first chapter you have done levels of management. First was top level management, then middle level management, and the third is lower level, which is also known as operational level management. And when this is created, so individuals can perform the job according to their work, and automatically the employees who are working, they will be knowing that they have to report to whom. Now suppose the operational manager, right, the foreman, he is at the third level, at the operational level, so he automatically knows that he has to report to the middle level, because middle level is his superior, the production manager. Okay, clear? So what are the 4 steps of organizing process? The first is identification and division of work. You have to identify all the work, then you have to divide it, right? Then we have to make departments. If you are making only one kind of product, then functional departmentation will be enough. But if you are manufacturing more than one kind of product, then you have to go for divisional departments. Then you have to assign the duties according to the ability, skill and qualifications of the employee. And after that you have to give some authority according to the work which is given to the employees, so that you can establish reporting relationships. Done? Clear or not? If you have any doubts, you can ask me, right? Okay, so this is the last topic for today's lecture, that is importance. The another name is significance of organizing. So first benefit is, the importance is benefits in specialization. Okay, so I think if you know the meaning clearly, you can easily tell me that how specialization can be created. Think. I'm giving you just 10 to 20 seconds to think. Okay. So in organizing, I have told you that every individual, they are being assigned some kind of work, not the whole task. I have told you that we have to assign the work according to the ability, according to the qualification, according to the skills, and we have to give them smaller tasks. Why? when we have divided the work into smaller units and there is no duplication of work, means no work is repeated, no overburden is there, right? Automatically, if a person is doing a smaller task, that is also according to his skill, ability and the qualification, then automatically what will come? Specialization will come. At the same time, when that person is performing that job, performing that work again and again, suppose that person has been working in the organization for 2 years now, so obviously now he's improving in his work, efficiency is increasing, and automatically specialization will be created. This is known as specialization, right? Clear? Okay, so next is clarity in working relationship. Okay, just a second. Okay, so now it is clearly defined. Okay, so everybody knows, right? So how much authority each and every individual or manager is having. Authority, in simple words, for now you can assume it's power, right? So when every manager, when every employee working in an organization, he knows that from where he can take the orders, or from who he has to achieve the order, to whom he has to report, then automatically the relationship, the working relationship is clear, right? The superior subordinate relation is clear, right? I have told you in the last step of organizing process, this is the same point. So when that chain gets created, the principle of scalar chain is being followed, levels are created, you can automatically be knowing that you have to report to whom and from which person you have to take the orders. So clarity is there, and when the clarity is there in the organization, no mess can be there and efficiency will be there, and you can lead towards your goal. Clear? Optimum utilization of resources. So when I have decided, when I have assigned the work according to the skills, right, and when I have divided the task into smaller units, and I have given the task to the employees to do, so there are two things: no duplication of work is there. It means that the same work is not performed by two or more individuals. There is no overlapping of work, because all the individuals are assigned according to the job description document. And now I remember that you must be knowing what is job description. So whatever job is mentioned, whatever work is mentioned in that document, only that work is to be performed by the employee. No overlapping, no duplication. So it means the resources are not getting waste, right? There are no chances that the same work will be performed by two or more than individuals. So obviously there will be optimum utilization of the resources, because there is no wastage. Clear? Then is adoption to change. So you have read the third chapter, business environment, and you know that how your business can get affected by the business environment dimensions. So but with the help of organizing functions, you can easily adopt the changes. How? Now for example, what we have done in organizing, we have divided the work. Okay, so we have divided the work into different departments, right? Different departments means marketing, sales, purchase, finance, and so on. So it means if there is any change in the business environment related to the marketing, then the marketing department can handle it on their own. It means all the changes will be done in the marketing department. It means that all other departments will remain unaffected. Okay? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? That whatever area is being affected, so changes can be easily conveyed, it can be easily communicated to the whole organization through the departments, and the changes can be done only in that particular department. Okay, that's why we have divided the group related activities into specific departments. Now suppose if there have been no departments and some changes occur, so there will be whole mess, because we don't know where we exactly have to make a change in the organization. But now, because I know that the change is in marketing department, so I will just make the changes in that specific area only. Clear? Next is effective administration. So when all the similar jobs are grouped together under one department, so obviously there will be unity, because there is no overburdening, and all the people, all the employees know that what particular work they have to do. It means the efforts and harmony are in work. There is harmony in work, and there is unity of efforts, right? So when all the employees under different departments are working like this, it means there will be coordination among the different departments also. And at the same time, you have clarity in the working relationship also. So at that particular place also, you are having coordination. So when the work is clear, when the job is clear, when the relationship is clear, when there is unity, when there is harmony, there is no wastage of resources, automatically there will be effective administration. Your efficiency will improve. Clear? Okay, so next is expansion and growth. Now you can relate this point to the point which I've just explained you now. When there is optimum utilization of resources and efficiency is improving because of proper division of work, okay, because departments have been made, because the authority and this establishing relationship, this working relationship is clear, and more specifically this optimum utilization of resources is there, so company can easily expand their work, they can easily grow, they can be growth for the companies, right? But suppose there was no optimal utilization of works, there were wastages there, and there is no clarity in the working relationship. Do you think this kind of organization can really expand their work? They cannot grow. In order to succeed, in order to grow, in order, if you want to feel the growth of the organization, you have to expand, and that is only possible if you are running in profits. And if you are running in profits, that is only possible when you're not wasting anything. And when you're not wasting anything, it means you're optimally utilizing everything, which is only possible when you're assigning the work properly according to specialization, and clarity is their working relationships. Then automatically you can face the expansion and growth of the organization. Otherwise it is not possible. So organizing helps us to feel the growth. We can easily expand our products, we can easily reach to our goals, we can expand our business as much as we want, because everything is systematically done. Last is development of personnel. So personnel means employees. So whenever we are giving some work, right, whenever we are telling the employees to do some work and authority is given, it means they can take some of the decisions by themselves, right? Clear? And when they are working on their own, then they are utilizing their full potential, right? If I'm giving you some work and I have given you some authority, okay, so it means the potential which is inside you, you can use this opportunity to realize your full potential. You can this delegation, when delegation is done, two things are done. First is, like, obviously the workload of managers, it is reduced, right? Because the managers cannot do the whole work on their own, so they have to share their work with the employees. So first, obviously the workload is reduced, but at the same time, this is your time to prove your talent. You can utilize this opportunity to whatever potential you have inside you, you can utilize that to full extent, so that you can grow, because every employee also wants to grow in the organization. That's the only way to move forward, to achieve the personal goals in life. So organization also helps in developing the personnel so that they can work much better. It also helps somewhere to realize their talents, and which can be beneficial for the organization, right? So we are done with the importance, right? And if you have any problem, you can ask me. Otherwise, you have to go through the whole topics, the meaning, the process, and this thing, the importance, and try to solve the back questions if possible. Thank you very much.